Covering West, Lampasas, and College Station, this is Fox 44 News at 9.
Thanks for joining us. Attorney General Ken Paxton was acquitted of all charges facing him in his historic impeachment trial this afternoon. A majority of senators found him not guilty of bribery, abuse of office, and more, allowing him to return to his post as Texas's top law enforcement official. But as our Ryan Chandler reports, the efforts to remove him have sparked a war inside the Texas Republican Party that will last long after this trial.
The Attorney General is excited and ready to get back to work, and that's what he's going to do.
A historic vote, paving the future of Texas politics.
This is a trial that should have never happened, period, full stop.
Attorney General Ken Paxton victorious and reinstated as Texas Attorney General after an impeachment trial sought to remove him from office on charges ranging from bribery, abuse of office, and conspiracy.
Ken Paxton is the most corrupt politician in the state of Texas at this time. And the Republicans in the Texas Senate just returned him to the office of top cop.
In the Texas House, 70% of Republicans voted to impeach Paxton. In the Senate, only 2 Republicans voted to convict. Even the trial's judge, Dan Patrick, ended with a scathing criticism of the House's impeachment.
The Speaker and his team rammed through the first impeachment of a statewide official in Texas in over 100 years while paying no attention to the precedent that the House set in every other impeachment. Millions of taxpayer dollars have been wasted on this impeachment.
Paxton's prosecutors concerned that political pressure tilted the scales for Paxton.
We always knew that a 2/3 vote of the Senate, as required by the Texas Constitution, would be a challenging threshold to meet, especially in light of the millions of dollars that Mr. Paxton's apologists have spent to influence and intimidate Texas senators.
There was an enormous amount of pressure being put on some of my colleagues. It's unfortunate, but like I said, this is the new normal now in the Republican Party.
Republican House Speaker Dade Phelan accusing Patrick of rigging the outcome and, quote, cheating the people of Texas of justice. The 2 chambers at odds once again, just ahead of yet another special session.
Paxton's legal troubles are not over yet. He still has to face a criminal trial in Harris County relating to separate federal charges for security fraud. In our crime report, Waco police have released the name of a 19-year-old man who drowned Friday night at Lake Waco. Investigators say the man was Alan Estudiante. Waco police and firefighters went to Lake Waco after learning that a teenager had gone swimming near Spiegelville Park and disappeared around 6:30 p.m. He and his friends were swimming in the no-swim zone when he went under and did not resurface. The swift dive team pulled the man out of the water, but it was too late. Hundreds of tires have risen up to the surface at Lake Belton. Fox 44's Hannah Hoover has the details on the cleanup.
Earl, over 1,000 tires were found by the Corps of Engineers in Lake Belton because of the recent drought. And there are still volunteers behind me trying to pick up the pieces.
The Corps of Engineers has got volunteers out, and they've already gotten rid of over 1,000 tires out of the lake.
The Lake Belton Gator Getters have been picking up trash in Lake Belton for 4 years. But with low lake levels, they are discovering even more trash than before.
We always have felt that it's not a Corps problem and it's not a Texas Parks and Wildlife, it's a community problem. And community members are the ones that have left the trash behind. So these community members have gotten together to get it cleaned up and gone.
After discovering the large number of tires, locals worried about possible toxic chemicals polluting the drinking water, which is why the Corps of Engineers quickly removed them.
We also have our normal trash like the glass, the metal, all that cleanup that all these wonderful people are coming out to help. And it's not a Corps of Engineer problem, it is a community problem.
All donations from today's cleanup event will go to Slice of Heaven Educational Farm, teaching children the value of taking care of the environment.
It makes a huge impact to our environment when trash is laying around. So we're picking it up, recycling it, taking it to the facilities that can handle it. As well as this is an awesome opportunity for families to teach their kids about taking care of the environment.
Organizers of the cleanup effort hope to bring more awareness to keep Lake Belton clean. In Belton, Hannah Hoover, Fox 44 News.
Tomorrow you can learn how to love your neighbor in Mission Waco's annual Walk for the Homeless. The 2-mile walk starts at 7:30 in the morning at the Mayer Center located at 1226 Washington Avenue. Attendees will learn how different organizations in our area serve those experiencing homelessness. The 2-mile walk is just part of the event. Mission Waco is also taking donations to buy shoes for the homeless. And at the end of September, the Killeen Police Department will host its 3rd annual Domestic Violence Awareness Month walk. The walk is to build support for victims and survivors of domestic violence. The free event is from 11 to 1 p.m. at the Lions Club Park. Stop by for light refreshments, free collectibles, and more. For more information, please call the number at your screen, 254-501-7698. And the celebration continues in East Waco as they highlight the return of Harambee Revival Day after a hiatus of nearly 2 decades. Harambee is a Swahili term meaning let's all pull together. It started off as a celebration in Kenya that quickly went international. A ribbon cutting and proclamation was held Friday. Today, food, music, local businesses, voter registration, and community resources were all set up for attendees. Monday marks the start of National Voter Registration Week, and the NAACP is kicking off the week with a mixer at Rock My Style Barbershop. Guests will be able to come and meet with others to promote voter rights. The NAACP is providing food and drinks. Reservations are encouraged. Around 13,000 American auto workers walked off the job Friday after their union was unable to reach a new contract with Detroit automakers. That number could jump dramatically if a deal can't be reached soon, part of an ongoing strike that could have a massive impact on the economy. Fox's Grady Trimble has the latest.
The United Auto Workers and the Big Three Detroit automakers back at the bargaining table on Saturday, one day after the union went on strike. Workers are pushing for higher wages and better pension plans. In their latest offers, Ford, GM, and Stellantis, which owns Chrysler, included a pay increase of around 20% over the 4-year contract. The UAW president says so far those offers are not enough.
When we get to where we feel we need to be, we can take an agreement to our members, we'll do that.
Ford has already laid off 600 workers at one plant because of the strike, and GM warns one of its factories could shut down as soon as next week. The union president calling that a squeeze tactic to get members to accept an unfair deal. President Biden has voiced his support for the striking workers, sending 2 members of his administration to Detroit to help aid the negotiations.
Auto companies have seen record profits. Those record profits have not been shared fairly, in my view, with those workers.
It's not clear if the union welcomes that help. Some workers fear the White House's embrace of electric vehicles means they could be out of a job in a few years. That's why union members are also seeking stronger job security as that EV transition happens. Right now, the strike is limited to just 3 plants. The UAW has vowed to expand those walkouts depending on how negotiations go. In Wayne, Michigan, I'm Grady Trimble, Fox News.